Shannon Lavinia, and I've got my co-host here, who you all know and love,
Woo! Hooray!
John Lavinia. And today we're going to be talking about how to build a community of raving fans that convert into paying clients. And this is actually one of our favorite topics. So if we have not met before, or you're new to our Facebook group, let me just give you a very quick introduction. John and I have been working in marketing and sales for over 20 years, and we're business partners and spouses. And we are the creators of the paid framework, which we go over quite a bit. It's what we utilize in our clients' businesses that help them get the extraordinary results that you see throughout our Facebook group as well. And we also are the owners of Brand Builder AI, which is an all-in-one CRM system that helps you with your marketing and sales automation. And it's pretty amazing, the power behind that as well. Anything else I should say to our intro there? It's always a little weird talking about
Yes,
ourselves.
yes. And we have created, I think we have a little bit of a lag time there going on. But if you can hear me okay, we have created, and we're going to be talking today about how to do this, a lot of content over the 20 plus years that we've been in business. So that all accrues. So as we get into the little, talk we're going to have here today, I want you to think about when the best time to start doing this is. And of course, it's 20 years ago, right? Second best time would be right now. So if you're not doing the stuff that Shannon and I are going to be presenting to you here today, find something you can do. You don't have to do everything, but find something that you can do to break the inertia and to start creating some momentum and some raving fan opportunities for yourself in the marketplace. So that's what I want to say, Shannon.
I love it. Okay, so let's dig right into building a community of raving fans and creating content that converts into paying customers or paying clients. So the very first thing, obviously, if you look at that title, is you have to know who your ideal client is. And we talk quite a bit about this because if you do not know exactly who you're communicating to, then no matter how much content you put out there, it's not going to actually hit the ears of the right person. And that right person is the buyer, the buyer persona, the person who is going to be the most ideal for you to get a result, to find value in your products and services, and who's going to want to buy, right? So the very first step is getting crystal clear on who that person is. Now, in our coaching program, we take our students through a couple of exercises that help them really narrow it down. But the biggest barrier that you're going to come up against is that little voice in your head that says, well, I don't want to be, I don't want to eliminate anybody. I don't want to be too narrow that I miss opportunities, right? There's a lot of thought that goes into feeling like you need to be really broad or very general in your marketing. And the reality is, when you do that, you're boring and you're not heard over all the noise. So you have to just face it that today we live in a constant contacting type of society. So it used to be when John and I started, 20 years ago, Facebook didn't even exist when we started marketing, right? So the competition at that time, it was a lot easier to deal with the competition. Now people are being touched like 20 times a minute by some type of promotion or marketing that's out there, right? So you're trying to rise above that noise, which means that you really have to hook someone in by connecting with their emotions, right? So people buy on emotions, they don't buy on logic. There's very small percentage of people that buy on logic. They're super analytical types that take forever to make a decision, and they want to overcome every single objection and all of that, right? We're looking for the other large percentage of people who buy driven by emotions. And in order to tap into that marketplace, you really have to connect with their inner struggle, with their challenges, with the things that they're trying to overcome, right? The solutions that they're already looking for, the problems that they know they have that keep running over in their head, the things that keep them up at night, that those are the things that you're going to want to connect with. in your messaging. So you have to know your client really inside and out. You have to know their deepest worries, their biggest struggles, their challenges. What have they tried before? What are they looking for? What have they already decided is a probable solution to their problem, and connect with that messaging. Over to
Mhm.
you, John.
Yeah. So look, we're all in different niches. We've got coaches, consultants, service providers. Here in our world, we work with, my goodness, everything from dental billing to, we have a trucking company and closet design and installation. So lots of different possibilities. Now, here's the question: out of the 7 billion plus people on the planet, how many of them are interested in specifically what you do? And how many of them are interested in that now? Right. So if you break it down, like Shannon's saying, you don't want to be vanilla. If you're a vanilla, you're ignored. Okay. But you want to impinge upon the people who in present time have a high level of interest in your specific niche. And the way you demonstrate that is by going deep, not wide, by going deep into your niche, which means what? Which means you can have a lot of specialized content that now puts you head and shoulders above everybody else who's just more of a generalist in that area, like a general practitioner versus the brain surgeon, right? If I was interested in brain surgery right now and I wanted to buy, brain surgery, training or something, would I go to a general practitioner or, a medical assistant who, happened to meet a brain surgeon once? No, I would go to the friggin' guru at the top of the mountain. And guess what? The price would be a lot higher too. So this really does serve you in the short term and in the long term. Serves you in the short term because now you've got lots of little specialty things that you could talk about. Like you never run out of content. If you're truly an expert in your area, you'll never run out of content. Now there are people, and I guess here's the caveat, who think, "Oh, I want to throw on, the beingness of a life coach. I'm going to be a life coach today, right? I don't know a damn thing about, but now it's a trendy thing, and I'm going to go do that, right? And so they're scraping for. Now what do I do? Now what do I say? What am I even selling? What is the actual product here? What's the impact, right? So there's a lot of questions about that. But if you're already an expert in your area, and no faking this, right? Then you have a myriad of different topics you could talk about. I'll give you one example and I'll kick it back over to you, Shannon. Shannon and I recently put in some new landscaping. Okay. You see, because we're in Florida and we like big, beautiful tropical trees, specifically palms. Okay. So I'm a big palm tree fan. We grew up in the state of New Jersey. There's no palm trees. In fact, when Shannon and I left New Jersey, we went to Arizona. But the main criterion was we're going to go somewhere where there's actually palm trees growing. We chose Arizona. That being said, now we're in Florida and planted some palm trees, different kinds of palm trees. And I had questions about the care of different kinds of palm trees. A palm is not, I mean, that's a very general term. What kind of palm are you talking about? There's lots of different kinds of palms, right? And so I wound up on YouTube and I started looking up different kinds of palm trees, like, for example, a Phoenix robellini, more commonly referred to as a pygmy date palm. We have one now. We're the proud new owners of a pygmy date palm and a queen and a triangle and all kinds of other palms. Okay. But I wanted to know about this particular kind of palm. And I found a guy on a channel who was talking about pygmy date palms, care, problems, this and that, and blah, 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 right? This was content. This was content now, right? That he put out years ago. I had no idea last week that this guy even existed. Wasn't interested. But now in present time, I'm his prime customer, right? And this guy was like the guru of palms. He could look at two, they look exactly the same, they're totally different species. And he could see that fast. See, he's a real expert. He's got the distinctions. He wrote the books, right? And read the books and sat at the feet of the masters. And now he's one of them. So here's a question, everybody. If I needed service and advice on palms, regardless of the cost, this guy was in Florida, by the way, Shannon. Okay. Where would I go? Who are you going to call? You're going to call the friggin' palm master, right? I don't want like any arbitrary, Q&A. No, I want direct, the best advice for my precious palm trees that I just invested in. So now, does he also know about, I don't know, insert name of plant here? Yeah, probably. But those videos were about that specific kind of palm. He got me. He got me. I'll pay whatever the price is, right? Fortunately, our palms are doing well. But anyway, back to you, Shannon. That's just one example. I hope people can relate to that. I'm not in the palm tree business, but man, that guy is, and I know it. Right?
That's right. And the reality is that if you know your audience and you know the struggles that they're having, you're going to produce content around it, right? So that guy knew that if you were going to plant those types of palms, you might have these challenges, and those challenges needed solutions, and he could show up as the expert, right? So you already know what challenges people are seeking information for. So, which brings us to the second point is you have to know what these people are looking for online. So you can show up as an expert in front of them. Now, there's a couple of ways that you can do that. One is you can go to askthepublic.com. You can put in your keywords. You can see exactly what people are looking for. It'll give you the data, and you can produce that content. The second thing is in your already existing clients, you can survey them and find out what were the biggest challenges that they had before they signed on with you, right? Before they purchased from you. And then the third thing you can do is you can do keyword searches on social media networks. TikTok is a great one for this. You can do a keyword search on TikTok and see what the top ranked videos are, the ones that are getting the most views, and you can look at the keywords on that, and you'll know what content people are consuming, right? Like, what are they looking for? What do they want to know about? So one of the coolest things about 2024, the year we live in now, is you don't have to guess anything. You don't have to spend millions of dollars on, broad surveys to figure out what people are looking for, because all the data is already there. So you don't have to guess. And if you're guessing, you're making a huge mistake. One of the things we tell people in our coaching program, tell our students, is do not guess, right? Do not think that you know better than the data. The data is already there, right? And if you just follow the breadcrumb trail of the data of what people are, what videos are going viral on TikTok, what people are consuming on Google, through Ask the Public, then you can literally make a 365-day content plan and put out content every single day that answers a question people are already asking, right? They're already asking these questions. So it lets you into the mind of these people, right? So if you're putting out that type of content and you're doing it consistently, you might not go viral in your first 60 or 90 days, but you're going to start to build an audience of people who see you as an authority and recognize and respect your expertise, right? And then that content is going to hold a space for you in years to come for people who in the future are also looking for that content. Like this guy made this video years ago that John stumbled upon, right? Years ago. So this type of content, you're literally building into your future. It's not one and done, right? It's not like you're putting a sign out on a telephone pole, which is something we used to actually do, go out at night and run around putting signs on telephone poles. That's going to be taken down and go away, and it's never going to be there again, right? This is content that you get to put out that's going to continue to grow through the lifetime of your business. What else, John?
Beautiful. And so, like I said before, it accrues, right? So the example I gave you of the palm doctor guy, right? He made a series of videos years ago that are still alive and well and will still attract customers like me. So you want to start building and accruing that asset, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Shannon mentioned a couple different platforms, or I mentioned YouTube, right? Shannon mentioned TikTok. They're very different types of, well, not, they're both video media, but one's like short form and one we could consider long form, right? I'm more of a long form guy. I'm in my 50s. I want the details, right? I don't need to see the palm guy dance, all right? But regardless of the platform, you want to think with this, right? Every piece of content you put out should have a purpose. So if we're going specifically into this topic today, or that topic, regardless of what the topic is, the purpose should be to establish trust and credibility with your viewer.
Mm-hmm.
The palm guy I mentioned, right? Do I trust him? Oh yeah, he had specific knowledge and he was 100% certainty. His posture was like, this is exactly the truth, right? And so also there's credibility, with that, right? He's not trying to be all things to all people. He is the expert at this, right? So think with that, right? Does your content, whether we're talking about an Instagram picture or a TikTok video, a short or a reel, whatever, does it induce trust and credibility on the part of the viewer, right? Do they like you more? In other words, are they more predisposed to buying your stuff? Maybe now, maybe later, right? So that years ago, still alive, and maybe it attracts your ideal customer now. In fact, we were meeting with some of the people we mentor with. Like, we have mentors too, which is a good tip, by the way. If you're going to be mentored by somebody, they should probably have mentors too. Be careful of anybody who's arrived, But we were meeting at great expense, by the way, with people who have advice
Mhm.
for us on this kind of stuff. And it came up the whole topic of long-term, longevity of like your email list and your follow-up and stuff like that, which is a different topic than we're on right now. But we are talking about raving fans, aren't we? Right. And so I mentioned, well, we have this one situation, which is an anomaly. It's an anomaly where this person was consuming our content, email, video, whatever, 8 years and never bought a damn thing until one day something changed. Just like I'm all interested in palm tree care right now, right? One day something changed. They're into us for 200 grand so far. 200,000 they spent after 8 years of doing nothing. Lots of custom work. Now suddenly they need all this stuff. All right. So there's the value. Now, could we call that person a raving fan? Well, maybe they weren't vocal about it for 8 years. Okay. And again, this isn't like an everyday situation. We've got other people, they're on our list for a few years, something changes. Now they are raving fans, right? But this one was an extreme example, almost a decade. And then suddenly the situation changed and they needed all this service and all this work, right? So we run, custom design studios and all this. So with that, think with that. It's not just instant gratification. And I know, especially in 2024, everybody wants microwave results. Okay. The point is to accrue. Yes, you'll get short-term results. You'll build and grow your list, but you'll also have things to come later. And unless you've got a crystal ball, I can't predict that stuff. The point is to publish, right?
Mhm.
And those people are going to show up when the timing is right for them, which again, we got 7 billion variables. They're called people, and everybody's interested in something different every day, every day, right? So I love this idea of really what we're talking about is content marketing,
Yeah.
right? So you put it out there, and you don't even have to, if you're vague on like what Shannon was talking about, if you're vague about what's a popular topic, you could Google it, right? You start typing into Google how to, and then Google finishes your question for you, right? And then you go deeper and deeper, and you could just, ask the public and all this kind of stuff. You can even get help with the writing of your content if you need help with that, with, open AI software and all the AI stuff that's going on right now. Point is to publish, to do it. And imperfect and done beats perfect and not done. Shannon, I've got somebody who just booked a demo with Brand Builder AI, which is our tech company, our main tech company out of four of them. But they've been on our list for some time, interested in coaching. Now suddenly they're interested in the technology. Well, that's fine. We do that too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I
So
love it.
yeah.
And then the last thing that I'm going to add to this is such a great conversation, John. The last thing that I'm going to add to this is, the beginning of this title is build a community of raving fans. So I'm going to add into this that you should be bringing these people into a container. And the container that we utilize is Facebook groups, and we also utilize our communities inside of Brand Builder AI to develop communities inside of our own incubators, right? So we're bringing people in and providing additional value. And by having people in a community where you're serving them and you're giving them amazing content, it raises them up the scale of interest very quickly. So where it might take longer, maybe 60 or 90 days for that person to convert, now you're bringing them into an incubator, right? And an incubator makes things grow faster, right? Like you're helping it to grow into an incubator that can shorten that time from lead to sale substantially. right? So instead of it being 60, 90 days, it might be 30 to 60 days. And because you're showing them your expertise and you're proving to them that you have the solution to their problem, right? And notice I said not a solution to their problem, you have the solution to their problem. And when you show them that you have the solution to their problem, which is a very powerful distinction, then their resistance to purchasing goes down and down and down and down and down till they become a buyer, right? Because they need it. They have to have it. You want them to need it like they need air, right? And you have to really impinge the pain of the problem, address the pain of the problem, and give them a vision for life with your solution that no longer has that problem. And you can do that in a container, in an incubator like a Facebook group. You can do that in a container like a community within Brand Builder AI. So it's really important that you're driving people into a container where you can serve and deliver to them, without all the noise external to what you have to offer, and make it the go-to place for resources.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Yeah.
Mhm.
So part of that, Shannon mentioned, and we both mentioned several times, the technology we use. Um, we have the ability with this technology to deliver one to many. So leveraging your time, but deliver in such a way that it feels bespoke. It's personalized to that person. Because again, we're an AI company. We can put in a lot of technology that personalizes things to people. So again, that kind of builds that trust and the credibility of, wow, this is being directed directly at me. Like Shannon mentioned before, there's an emotional, in every case, 100% of the time, there's some emotional reason why somebody buys, right? Even if it's the very stoic, analytical person who just doesn't even show any emotion at all, but inside they've got a feeling of at least, confidence that they're making a good buying decision. Well, that's an emotion. Sure it is, right? So we always want to go towards elevating or augmenting someone's enthusiasm, even if it's not bubbly and doesn't show on the outside, but elevating their level of enthusiasm so they're happy to exchange with you, right? So just think with that, make everything you do purposeful towards that end, right? And then you're going to, if you're an expert in your space, right, you're going to be able to create content that is directed and goes right to the heart of what the conversation that's already going on in the mind and in the heart of your prospect, right? They got a problem that they need solved. And if it isn't today that they got that problem, maybe tomorrow they're going to have that problem, but you've already made the content for it. You're already the expert, right? So I think with that, Shannon, we'll probably wrap up.
That's right. So can you work with us? How can you get more information? You can definitely book a strategy session. Go to ceofreedom.com/free strat, and we'll be happy to get on the phone with you, see if you're at the point where you're ready for our programs, and we can empower you in the ways that we provide lead and sales automation. And we'd be excited to chat with you. So definitely thanks for being here. Leave a comment below because we want to hear from you. We want to know how you're going to actually deploy this information and apply this training and the results that you're going to get with it. So have a great day, everybody.